I'm Dennis Hudson at OrangeQuant.com, and welcome on this Thursday afternoon after the close on February 25th, 2010. Stay with me. I've got your S&P 500 and your SPY analysis coming up. Stick around. But first, I have to discharge a couple of public service announcements from me to you that will help you, perhaps, or someone you know and love. These are free. I'm going to point some things out to you. And it's way off topic. Let's start with the thing about cockroaches. Now, I don't care where you live or what kind of cockroaches these are. In New Mexico, we've got these gigantic outdoor cockroaches that sometimes come indoors, and people also have the regular cockroaches that infest their houses. Here's what you do, as I learned 2 years ago when I moved to my new house here in the South Valley of Albuquerque, from talking with a retired exterminator who explained to me that exterminators really don't exterminate, they partially exterminate just so they can be called back and make more money. You take yourself, as you know, probably know, boric acid kills cockroaches, but that's not the way you do it. You don't just sprinkle down some boric acid. You have to trick the cockroaches. So he said what you do is you take some boric acid, some peanut butter, and some pork fat, and I used bacon fat, and mix it together, and you make kind of a soft paste, and you jam that down in a half dozen spots around the house, into some cracks inside some cupboards here and there. You don't need to do it more than a half dozen places. And I did this 2 years ago because when I moved to this new house, it had been lived in by lots of people, and it was a mess, and it was overrun. Okay, and within 3 days, I had no more cockroaches. This was after dealing with a couple of exterminators. To no avail whatsoever, hardly. And the treatment lasted 2 years before I had to repeat it. And then it was just I noticed one or two little problems and repeated the treatment, and no more problems since then. Now, the other thing concerns vertigo. And I'm coming to the forecast, but there are people who need to know these things. Vertigo is kind of a dizziness, that you get. And it's really difficult to treat. If you go to an allopath, an MD, or a DO, somebody like that, they have real problems treating this stuff. As some of you know, that my career, my profession, actually, I'm a doc, and Oriental medicine, and I had practiced for 20-some years before I went into trading. So there's a medicine that you can use, but what you got to do for this, I'm not going to give it to you over the air because it takes special medical instructions. It's free. I'll tell you what to get, and then you go find a source. And you just put a few drops in the nose, and in most cases it will resolve it within a day or 2 days at most. And the reason that my conscience was pricked enough to do this public service statement on vertigo is because I have a cat, and sometimes she would get a little too close to me and rub up against my face, and from her, apparently, I would get these sinus infections that then would produce inner ear infection, and I'd get vertigo. Well, I had this medicine and I would use it, but what happened recently was that I prepared some of it, the liquid from the basic herb, and I happened to leave it out overnight, and it apparently got colonized by some bacteria that were resistant to that medicine, which means it's very resistant bacteria or fungi, who knows. Anyhow, when I put the drops in my nose, I gave myself a brand new infection, and I had vertigo for a couple of weeks, couldn't get rid of it, and I began to appreciate really how much people suffer with this stuff. So that's why I kind of put it out there for you. So go to my website. There's a place to contact me and just drop me a note and say, I want to know about this, and I'll send it so you get it straight from the horse's mouth. Also, for the resistant type, what I finally got was something else, and I'll share that with you too. Alrighty, on with the show. Okay, as forecast, again, last Monday, you saw that Monday was the forecasted inflection, and then actually on the Tuesday created yet another inflection. We had this whipsaw effect, and the next inflection is Wednesday, March the 3rd, next major inflection. So you want to be watching for that. Right now it's Thursday, and the market came up today from its open. We don't know how that's going to play out, what's going to happen tomorrow, Friday. I'm not even analyzing at that point. I'm setting up on next week, Wednesday, looking at that. And a quick flashback to that earlier forecast. You can see Wednesday, the 3rd of March, is another one of these major inflections. So you want to get ready and go look at the video on the website about inflections and how to play them. Now I'm going to redraw one of these synthetic trend lines in yellow. Just hang on a second. Now you see that bright yellow one down at the bottom that's crossing through Thursday, the 18th of February? Alright, what price has done after the Monday inflection, what price did, it fell off like this, and then it jumped up like that, and then it started out down low again, and has kind of started to come back. As I had pointed out before, this skinny lower yellow synthetic trend line would be a boundary, and if you look at price, you'll see that price is starting to oscillate between this light blue trend line and this fat yellow trend line. They're both synthetics, and it means that eventually it's going to bang into it. It looks like right about Wednesday, March 3rd. On the other hand, it could oscillate below that fat yellow one and create an inflection at the downside, in which case price will run back up. But you got to understand how inflections work before you can play this. So watch the video on inflections. Now, one last point. I am about to do a series of videos, probably 3, maybe 4, on what I believe is the coming crash. I believe we're going to crash again. Alright, we need credentials for that, right? And my credentials are, if you look back over all my forecasts, you see that I'm running at about 85-87% accuracy using the FLIR 2 ebook methods of synthetic trend lines, H205, tau and iota, and whatever else is in there. But for some extra credentials, Trainwreck is the book, the ebook that I wrote. It was free then, it's free now. I haven't modified it, and you can go download it at whattolearn.com/crash.htm and get a free copy of it. Or actually, the whole thing is right there on the page, I believe. So go take a look at that. You'll see I forecasted this crash that we're having now, or that we've been through the last couple of years, and you'll know that I am at least thoughtful about what I'm about to say in this next series of videos. So go take a look at that, and you'll see that I called pretty much everything that has happened, and I gave you the reasons why. So then, when I start putting out these this series of videos on what looks like another crash, you'll say, well, you know, this guy was right before, and you may be able to save other people a lot of grief, and save yourself a lot of grief, simply by doing some of the things I'm going to mention in there. Alright, I'm Dennis Hudson at OrangeQuant.com, and you are fabulous.